quit smoking cigarettes. Do it all for you. What's up, y'all? Let me get this thing right. What's up, everybody? My name is Josh. KC, baby. Got the Chiefs game about to go on. Getting ready for that. Got the pre-game in my house going on. All clean and sober. No drugs, no alcohol. But, y'all, I haven't been on here for a while. I shared my testimony a while back, but I just got out of jail at the time and I was excited to do it, so my brain was all scattered and I don't know, it didn't sound right to me. I should have listened to it before I posted it. My name's Josh. I'm a recovering addict. I'm from Kansas City, born and raised. Born in 1985. I'm 38. I'll be 39 next month. So here's my testimony. I was raised up here in Kansas City, Kansas. Good childhood. Had a great childhood. Had a good mom and dad. My dad worked for the city. My mom worked for the school. They took care of me and my brother. I got a younger brother. My parents made sure that we never went without anything, plus some. They weren't rich. We weren't middle class, but we were taken care of. We had a great childhood. I played sports my whole childhood. My dad coached me. My mom coached my brother. I loved life when I was little. When I was a kid, back in the 80s. But, so I'm here to tell you my full testimony, the full truth of Joshua Magnuson. So, like I said, I'm a recovering addict. I just got out of jail December 18th for a relapse, and I'm going to tell you how I led to that relapse. Like I said, I grew up with a good family, good parents, ate good, went to school, was in sports, academics, had a lot of good friends. When I was 12 years old, I tried pot for the first time, and that's all I did for a while, just smoke pot. And then when I was 14, I got woke up on my first day of 9th grade. My mom told me, your dad's in the hospital. My dad had got into an accident on his way to work. A water pollution truck ran his car over, and from there on, my life just went to hell. It shifted dramatically. My dad was in a coma for about a month. He had to relearn how to walk and talk. It fucked me up. I still remember visually going into the hospital to see him on the hospital bed with tubes coming out of his mouth that crushed his whole left side of his body. They said he'd never be the same again. He had to relearn how to walk, how to relearn how to talk. So when I was 14, I pretty much had to help my mom raise my dad again. And that's when my life took a spiral down the wrong path. I went down the rabbit hole. It took me a long time to come back. So I started getting in trouble. I went to juvenile the first time in 9th grade. I got caught with a half ounce of weed. Spent about a week in juvenile, got 3 months of probation. I was just smoking weed. I drank occasionally. About 10th grade, I started bringing alcohol to school and drinking at school, getting high in school, in the restroom, skipping school. I had 57 unexcused absences my first semester in 10th grade. I got kicked out of school, had to go to alternative school in 10th grade for the rest of the year. Got out for the summer, stayed drunk and high all summer. 11th grade, I lasted about a month before I got kicked out, and I finally just said, forget it, I'm checking out. I dropped out of high school, 11th grade. I was about 16 at the time because I wanted to get drunk and high, and I wanted to party. The reason why I started all this drinking and partying and smoking pot is because I was mad. I was mad at God because he took my dad from me. I was mad at God. He took my mom from me. I didn't get the attention that I needed, so that's what I thought. That was my mind thinking, and I blamed my mom for everything. God rest her soul. She was a really good woman. She was trying so hard. She had to raise me and my brother and my dad pretty much. Excuse me, guys. It's a touchy subject. I felt left out, I guess, So my whole life, I was in and out of jail, juvenile, getting in trouble because I wanted to get high. I wanted to get drunk. I didn't care about life anymore. I wanted to be numb. I didn't want to feel the pain anymore. So I dropped out of school at 16, got a job for the summer. I ended up working at JCPenney outlet when I was 17. I got in trouble from stealing from there. Went to jail for a week for that. My first adult charge, I guess, because I never went to court when I was 17. I got pulled over when I was 18 with a warrant for Johnson County and ended up spending a week in jail. Got a year of probation for that. My whole life is this. So when I was 18, it's the first time I tried ecstasy and acid and mushrooms, cocaine, opium, crack, meth, pretty much every freaking drug there is, even designer drugs made from a chemist, whatever. Synthetic drugs, I guess it would be 2CB, 50 MAOMT. I don't even know the names of some of the drugs I did. That's how, because I didn't care. I just wanted to get high. I just wanted to party and fit in with the crowd. So I did. When I was 18, I tore my rotator cuff, and then my doctor put me on hydrocodone. Yeah, I loved that feeling. Hydrocodone. Then I got put on Percocet, and that became the love of my life. They call it roxycodones. I didn't really I want to say it was the love of my life yet, but I mainly just smoked weed and drank a lot when I was in my 20s. Up until I was about 24, 25, I tried 30 milligram Percocet, and then that became the love of my life. I did Oxycontin shortly after that. Got to a point where I was breaking it down and snorting it. Morphine, fentanyl. Just started drinking a lot and doing Xanax all the time from the age I was 24 till about 28. And I was doing it with my mom, my brother. Me and my mom, we got so bad we were stealing my dad's pain meds that he had from his accident. He's still on them, and we'd take his pain meds and anxiety meds from him. And the guy needed these medicines. And we didn't care. We just wanted to get high. I didn't care. I just wanted to get high. And then I would take my mom's pain meds. She had a cage in her back, so she was getting pain meds too. So I was stealing from her. I was stealing medicine from her. I was taking stuff my dad supply, my brother supply. I didn't care. I wanted to get high. And we'd get in fights and arguments all the time, tear the house up. I had such a bad anger problem back then. 'Cause I was just mad at the world. I was mad at God. I was mad at my mom. I blamed her for everything. God rest her soul. And she did her best, you know. I mean, a woman trying to raise 3 grown men has got to be pretty fucking hard. I know it was. I see it in her eyes how hard it was and how depressed she was. And it made me depressed and made me feel like a piece of crap for doing the things that I did. When I was 28 years old, this was, well, let's go back. I was 27 in 2012. I believe it was August 2012. I stole my brother's car while he was at a friend's house overnight. I went to his room, took about $1,000 cash from him, stole his car. I was high on Xanax, Oxycontin, and drunk. And I took off to go get some more pills for the next day so I wouldn't be sick. I come back, I wreck his car into the front porch. An hour later, my brother shows up at the front door of my parents' house, mad as hell. He gets in my face. We start arguing, we start fighting, and I didn't know what to do. I was so depressed. I didn't care no more. I didn't know how to get off these drugs, and I really didn't want to at the time. I didn't want to live, so me and my brother arguing about that just set me off. Me contemplating suicide came true. I took a steak knife to me, and I took a steak knife while my brother was yelling at me, and I told him, I'm done. You guys hate me. I'm going to kill myself. And I stabbed myself in the stomach. I have an incision about that long from the surgery. The knife went into my gallbladder, and they had to take my gallbladder out. And I woke up 3 days later in the hospital. There's a Band-Aid on my stomach. I woke up, I didn't know what the hell I did, but I saw that Band-Aid, I knew I did something messed up. And I look over, I see my mom and dad walking, and I just lost it. I just started crying, and I found out what I did to myself that night, and I killed myself. So, I get out of the hospital, they prescribed me 120 Roxycodone, the love of my dream. I take all those in a week. I call the doctor and tell him my dog ate them or something like that. Then he prescribes me more, whatever. So I'm taking them, and in that time of me running out is probably about September. I decided that I needed help. I needed to go get some mental help. So I checked myself into this place called Osawatomie out in Kansas. A real cuckoo house. I needed it. I was cuckoo. So I sat in there for about 22 days, went to classes and meetings. The whole time I was in there, I didn't want to be there. I really didn't want to be clean or sober. I wanted to get out. The whole time I was in there, I just wanted to get out and go get high. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't care about being in there. So I got out, went to this, I guess it's a halfway house or something. It was kind of like a halfway house, but it was supervised. I get to this place, and I stay there for about a week and a half, and they don't give me my medicine there. I want my hydrocodones, I want my Percocets, I want my Xanax, and they won't give it to me, and I can't leave the place without supervision. I can't go to the store without supervision, so I said, fuck it, and grabbed my stuff and called the pharmacy and filled my Klonopin. Went straight to the pharmacy, got my Klonopin, and then found some hydrocodone eventually and some Percocet, and got drunk. I think I stayed at a friend's house that night for a couple days. Ended up going back home for another year and continued on my path of destruction. Continued on a path of getting drunk and high and not giving a crap about anyone else. I didn't have a job. I didn't care. I was stealing from my family again, taking money from them so I could go buy pills. And it was October, about 1st of October or something. I got kicked out of my parents' house. I was homeless. I ended up going to my dad's friend's house, Bobby. I call him Uncle Bob. And he was an alcoholic, ex-crackhead. I lived with him for a couple weeks on his couch and in his spare room. Every day, I was there every day. Me and him would wake up. The first thing we would do is crack open a beer. By 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, as soon as that liquor store was open, we were both down there begging for change just so we could get drunk. I was more wanting to get high, but so we did that every day. We partied every day for almost a month. Yeah. One night, October 26th, I was sitting there on the phone. Me and Uncle Bob were outside drinking and smoking cigarettes. I was talking to this girl, trying to get her to come over with some pills. And we were on the phone. She had some Dilaudid, a really good pain pill. Oh my God, I need to quit thinking about it. No, but that's how I thought back then. I heard Dilaudid and I was like, oh my God, yes, let's go. It made my heart jump when I heard that. And I'm talking to her on the phone. This group of kids come up. It was about 7 o'clock p.m. Teenagers, young dudes. And they asked if they could pray for me. So I said, yeah. I hung up the phone, put the phone down, and they started praying for me. And I could feel chills going down my spine. And I started crying. And I could feel Jesus trying to get to me, but I wasn't having it. They prayed for me. We talked for a little bit, and they left. I'll call that girl right back as soon as they leave. And an hour later, she was over. She had a couple of Dilaudins. Go up to the spare room. We're talking, and she opens up a little box, little container. There's a spoon in there and 2 needles with 2 pills and some saline. I kind of freaked out when I saw the needles, but at the same time, I'll just take the pill. I don't have to shoot up. So she melts one down, puts it in the syringe, and she asked if I'm ready. I didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. I was like, I'd never shot up before, so she did it for me. And boy, it was the best high I've ever felt. I'm not even gonna lie. So we did that. We got high. She left. She left me a pill. And the next day, about 7 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. Me and Uncle Bob cracked open a beer. I went upstairs, and I still had that Dilaudid, so I tried to do it myself. Break it down, put it in the spoon, fill up the syringe, wrap my arm up, and I stick myself. I hit the vein, but there's no blood coming through, like you know how it shoots up through the tube. No blood, the medicine wouldn't push through. So I said, well, fuck, I fucked that up. So I wrap this arm, I try this one. I do it again. Nothing's working. It won't go through. And I pull out, the needle is bent. I was like, oh, yeah, I need to stop doing this shit. So I take the needle off, I just squirt the medicine in my mouth. So I was determined to get high. So I did that. We ate breakfast. Then about 8 o'clock, me and Uncle Bob walk up to this church. And I see this group of guys outside talking. I asked them, begged them for some change. Like, man, I need to get to Missouri. It costs like $5 to get on the bus, which was like $1.50. I was just trying to get high. You know the deal. So they said, no, we ain't got none. So I go into the food pantry in the church, and I see those same group of kids in there. I start talking to them, bullshitting with them, and I ask them if they're hiring, if they know if I could get a job there. They give me an application. I ask them for some money. They don't got no money. So I leave. I'm walking out, and I try to avoid the group of guys that I seen when I was coming in because I was embarrassed. I didn't want to talk to them again. And they say, hey, come over here. So I go over there. They say, what's your name? I tell them, I'm Josh. I'm like, nice to meet you, Josh. He's like, what's going on with you today? Yada, yada, yada. And so I tell them, you know, I'm trying to get to Missouri. I'm looking for a job. And I'm broke. I need some money to get over to Missouri. So they're like, here, can we pray for you? So they start praying for me, and like, I felt different for this time. I really felt Jesus come in, and like, I felt like the weight lift off my shoulders. I felt chills down my spine. I was warm, and it was crazy. I've never felt nothing like that until here recently. But so they saved me. I accepted Jesus Christ into my life right then and there. And we get done with that praying, and they give me some change, about $3 or $4, and I go off on my way. First place I go to, liquor store. Buy me 2 24-ounce Natty Daddies. I like the taste of beer. I've always liked the taste of beer. I go to my Uncle Bob's house with the Natty Daddies. This is October 27th, 2013. And I crack open one Natty Daddy. I took a drink, and all of a sudden it tastes nasty. It tastes flat. It's weird. It never tastes like that to me. I dump it out. So I open up the other one. I take a drink. It tastes worse than that first one. It tastes like warm piss. I tried to drink it, a couple more drinks. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't swallow it. I dumped that out. The first thing I do, I go out, smoke a cigarette. I'm about to go back to the liquor store, and then something tells me, man, you don't need that shit no more, Josh. You need help. So I threw the cigarette down. I run upstairs to the spare room. I get on my hands and knees and start praying, God, please help me. God, I need help. Will you please help me? I don't know what to do anymore. God, please help me. And that's all I said. And about 2-3 hours later, I call her my angel. Uncle Bobby's mom shows up out of nowhere. No one called her that I know of. And says, Josh, you need help. You're going to detox. So, October 27, 2013, she takes me to my parents' house. We set up an appointment for me to go to detox. And later that night, my mom and dad take me to detox, drop me off, and for the first time since my dad's accident, as I'm getting out of the car, my dad looks at me and says, I love you, Josh. I'm proud of you. I haven't heard him say that since his car accident. I just started bawling, and right there sunk into me that I need help. So I went into detox and sat there for 5 days. And this lady, Sarah Jackson, my caseworker, she's been chasing me ever since August 12th of 2012, or August 16th. And she'd been looking for me since I went to Osawatomie, trying to get me help. So she shows up a couple days after I'm in detox, and we talk, and she makes up a game plan for me. Says, here's the deal. I'm going to get you into a welcome house. It's a sober living house in Kansas City. I'm going to pay the first 2 months of rent. It's $22 a day to live there. I didn't have a job. I didn't have no money. So I'm like, okay, deal. And then she said, the only thing is, you have to go to an inpatient 28-day program if I pay the first 2 months of rent. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I really didn't want to, but I knew I needed it. So went to a welcome house. It's a transitional living house. You got to stay clean and sober. You got to pay $22 a day, or $20 a day back then. They fed you warm breakfast, all you could eat, sack lunch, warm dinner, all you could eat. You had to attend at least one AA or NA meeting a day for the first 90 days, 90 meetings in 90 days. You had to hold a job down and stay clean and sober and work the steps. So I did that. I went there for about a week, then they sent me off to the inpatient 28-day program. I stayed the full 28 days. And I'm so grateful I did. I learned so much. There is a faith-based program. So not only did we go to AA and NA meetings, we also went to church on Sundays and Wednesdays, which was actually really cool. It's called Salvation Army. And I stayed there for 28 days, started working on myself, and that's when I started realizing, none of this was my mom and dad's fault. None of this was their fault. They didn't want me like this. I did this to myself, And at first I was mad at them, when they kicked me out. But now, today, I thank God that they did kick me out, because I wouldn't have learned the things that I did. So I would get out of the 28-day program, go back to a welcome house about the end of November, 1st of December. And I stayed there till December 5th, 2015. I was there for 2 years. It was a great program. They worked with you. They held you accountable for your actions. I stayed clean and sober the whole time from that 2 years. And I worked, had a job at Factory Surplus. I was a lead forklift driver there. And they took us to work every day and took us home every day. It was crazy. They really do care about you there and really want to help people. So if you're an addict, you're struggling, you're an alcoholic, you're struggling, you need help, hit up the Welcome House. There's a lot of places out there in Kansas City and I believe in the world nowadays. But that's not where it ends. So I stay there for about 2 years. I move out December 5th into my apartment in 2015 into my own apartment over in Westport, Kansas City, Missouri. I meet this girl named Emily about a week after living there. When I move out, I only attend 1 or 2 meetings the whole time I lived there. And there's an NA meeting literally across the street from my apartment. I went to 2 meetings within a week of living in the apartments when they had a meeting twice a day there. And my first weekend in this apartment, I meet this girl Emily, probably December 15th or so. Go pick her up. Well, she goes picks me up from out North Kansas City. We go back to my apartment. First thing I do, I have her stop by the liquor store, get a 12-pack of beer and a couple shots of Fireball. We go back. I'm relapsing as soon as we walk in that house. Start drinking, and so this girl ended up being my wife at one time, and so me and her were together up until the end of 2017. We drank and partied all the time. We were on and off, breaking up and getting back together. She put me in jail in 2016 for 4 months. I got out and went straight back to her like an idiot. And we got married when I got out of jail. And we moved over to Edwardsville, Kansas. We were living in Casey Mo at this time. Moved over to Edwardsville, Kansas, a nice little cozy house, and that's where I found out she was cheating on me. So it was about Christmas time, 2017. Found out she was cheating on me. I was working at Amazon, making some good money back then, and I found out she was cheating on me, and I just quit going to work, and I lost myself again. I started just drinking all the time, every day. I didn't even call into work anymore. I just quit showing up. I quit paying rent. And I went crazy. I started fucking chicks left and right, like more than I could imagine. But I don't know what happened. That girl, she screwed me up pretty bad in the head at that time. But so eventually I moved back home, ended up staying high and drunk all the time, and I started smoking meth in the 2018, about say July of 2018, and boy, I got way far out there. I ended up getting pulled over in Independence, Missouri, getting my second DUI in 2018. Got my cousin arrested on his 18th birthday because he wanted to party with me, and I go pick him up high on mushrooms and driving down the highway. We get pulled over. We both go to jail. And I was messed up. I did care then, but at the same time, I must not have, because why would I drive around with him drunk and high on shrooms? So I get my first mushroom drug charge and second DUI, and matter of fact, that bit me in the butt recently. So I get this job at this wax factory while I'm living here with my parents, and I meet this guy named John, and he asked me if I do meth. I said no, but I'll try it. At that time, I didn't care. I was depressed. I didn't want to be alive anymore. I was back living with my parents in the basement. So I started smoking meth and met this girl, Jen, and I ended up losing my job at the wax factory, because I'd just be up for 4 days at a time, and then by the fifth day I couldn't work. Fourth day I couldn't work. I was so out of it and delusional. I started calling in all the time and just staying home and smoking dope in the basement. Ended up losing that job, and then met this girl Jen. She became my dope buddy, so she was supporting my dope habit for the rest of the year. For some reason, I don't know, I seen some crazy shit. One night, I was sitting in the basement and I heard a drill. Sound like a drill. I run upstairs. I didn't see anyone or hear anybody. I go back downstairs to the basement. Next thing I know, I hear some people talking. I run upstairs. I look out in the garage, and all the lights are always off in the garage. I look out, and there's lights shining. This is where everyone thinks I'm crazy, which I was back then. I was out of my mind. This is how much I was hallucinating just from not being asleep for 5 days. I look out through the bushes, and there's two demons sitting there in tuxedos, bright light in front of them, smiling, waving me on, come here, telling me to come here. They have razor sharp teeth. Right there, that's when I said, I'm done. I'm not fucking with this shit no more. I can't do that. I'm good. So, August 11th of 2019, I went back to detox. Went in there for about a week and ended up finding this place called the Last Stop Sobriety House. I moved in there for a year. Everything was good. I got a real good job at this pallet company. I stayed there for a year. My dad ended up giving me his car because people were starting to trust me, you know. So I was there from August 19th of 2019. And in the middle of that, my mom passed away March 14th, 2021, I believe. And she died. Her heart stopped. I guess I don't know what happened, how it happened, but she was also still using drugs. And my dad found her. There was a pile of some kind of powder on her dresser with some liquid Xanax. And that's what we think did it, but we're not too sure. The autopsy says that she had a heart attack. My mom passed away, and I stayed clean for about a year after that. I stayed strong, and I don't know what happened in 2022. Towards about December 2022, I started drinking really heavily again and popping pills and doing cocaine. I just got depressed. I got the screw it. I said, I'm done. I mean, it started really getting to me that my mom was gone and sinking in. I just lost my job. Well, I quit my job, the best job I've ever had, all because I didn't like the boss's attitude. I just gave up again and started doing coke and popping pills and drinking heavily. And I ended up missing out on rent, getting behind a couple months on rent, so I get kicked out of my apartment. I have to move back home again with my girlfriend and my dog. Now I'm living in the sunroom. It's cold as hell in here. Luckily, I got a little space heater. I move in here and I start doing ketamine while I'm living here, while I'm doing cocaine, while I'm popping pills. And I lived here for about 2 weeks. I think we moved in here October, 1st of October, something like October 9th. And I was getting high, doing coke, popping pills for a few weeks. Still, while I was here, nobody knew that I was doing the pills. And October 22nd, I told my girl, Brittany, I love you, Brittany. I told her that, hey, let's go to the park. Let's go get some alcohol and just have a little fire at the grill, you know. So we go to the liquor store. I pop the Valium in my mouth after I just snorted a line of ketamine. Walking down to the liquor store, and as we're going to the liquor store, I'm thinking to myself, I shouldn't do this. I just took some Valium. Why? I know what happens when I take Valiums and drink hard liquor. I do stupid shit. But we go in there anyways. I get a 6-pack and a fifth of a Fireball. We walk up to the park. We have a little fire in the grill. We were chilling by ourselves. Cool. Nobody was messing with us. We weren't bothering nobody. Next thing I know, there's a few people that pull up to the shelter above us. They come down running their mouth, yapping, talking about they're going to call the cops and this and that. And when I'm high and drunk, I don't like it when people talk shit to me and threaten me. So I snapped. I got in their face, started yelling. I got threatened they're going to run me over. I got ran over. And after that, I blacked out. I don't remember anything from the time I got ran over till the time I went to jail, I guess. Apparently, in that time of me blacking out after I got ran over, I grabbed a knife, allegedly, and threatened to kill these guys. Then cops come, they beat me up, wrestle me up real good. And next thing I know, I'm coming to in Wyandotte County Jail. I have been arrested for arson, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault endangering a child under the age of 18, assault and battery on an LEO. My first felony charges, I'm 38 years old. I went almost 39 years without catching a felony charge. I haven't been in trouble since 2018. Why did I get in trouble? Oh, I know why. Because I got high and drunk and said forget life, and I didn't care. So I sat in Wyandotte County Jail for 57 days. Oh my God. 23-hour lockdown, the worst time of my life. And I sat in there, and I had a lot of time to think, a lot of work to do on myself. I worked on myself. I got right with God. I asked Christ back into my life, and he's been by my side ever since. I've been clean and sober for 83 days now, and I feel good. I haven't drank. I haven't used any drugs. I'm sober. I'm clean. I have a probation officer. I have to go take drug tests that I'm not worried about. I mean, life is good today, and I'm happy. I really am. I got a job at a little barbecue joint. I mean, I don't make much, but hey, I got a job, and I'm doing the damn thing. So I'm 38 years old. On my fourth time, I believe, fourth time of trying to be sober. I gotta do this time. It's life or death. If you guys are out there struggling, you need help, get a hold of somebody. There's places out there. That's my testimony for now. God bless y'all. Love you. Peace. Mwah. KC, baby.